Everything the light touches is our kingdom.
So, is that from Lion King or Black Panther?
I mean, it's the same movie.
Basically.
What's the difference?
Yeah, there's quite a few similarities. It's ultimately the same movie.
Hey, y'all.
What's up?
Welcome back.
How y'all doing?
I'm Tara.
I must be Ryan.
And this is Tara Talks Ryan Listens.
Because I thought I was Tara.
No, you're not. Not today.
I was going to talk, but okay.
You can talk. I'll allow it.
Okay, cool. So, yeah. How are you? What you up to?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Let's jump into this week's show because, you know what? This might be one of those mythical short episodes we keep talking about. It's not really a lot going on right now. And if so, we're missing it because, you know, we're not paying attention.
I can dig it.
Which is very likely because I have been in a rest and recovery mode for the last couple weeks. So I ain't been doing much of nothing.
I can dig it. So we went to go see The Lion King.
Yeah, we did.
And the thing is, like, we had a pretty busy weekend. So I knew it was going to be easy to miss. Like, we could have easily gone through the weekend and not seen it.
I don't even think I realized it was coming out.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I've been waiting for this for what, a year, 2 years? And then once it actually got here, I forgot until one of my friends was like, yeah, the church is taking the kids to see Lion King. I'm like, oh, sorry, what? The Lion King.
Yeah, it just seems like they've been building a hype for it for so long. I forgot that it was actually supposed to come out and be a thing.
Also, I knew it was like, I knew the date. It's just like this date snuck up on me. Like, this whole summer has flown by. I don't know about y'all, but my summer has flown by and it's over. I mean, it's practically Christmas. Like, y'all can just forget about the fall.
Right. I mean, fall don't even mean nothing at this point because next thing you know, it's going to be Thanksgiving.
That's a problem. So, let's see. First off, I just want to start by saying this. Like, please let us know, do y'all like seeing movies in 3D or not? Because I love 3D.
I honestly don't really find it. I don't find that it enhances my experience. And frankly, I feel like it takes away from it, if anything. Because unless it's an action-packed movie where you feel like stuff is flying at you or people are jumping out of the screen, like if it's an action movie and somebody's jumping off the building or something and it feels like they're falling towards you, if that's not what we're watching, I don't really see a point in watching a 3D movie because having to wear those glasses takes away from, in my opinion, like the sharpness and the clarity of the actual production values of the movie. And I find myself like wanting to look under the glasses or lift the glasses up or take them off. But of course you can't do that because then you're seeing like blurred double lines and stuff like that. So in my personal opinion, I really don't think it's worth it, to me at least.
So when we went to see Black Panther, we saw it once regular.
No, twice regular, one IMAX and one 3D.
Yes. Okay. And that was my first time like comparing the same movie in a different version. And honestly, I liked the 3D version the best.
I honestly didn't notice enough difference between IMAX and regular, but I know what the difference is. It's basically a larger, to put it in simple terms, ultimately it's a larger file size. Just like if you're watching a 1080p YouTube video versus a 4K YouTube video. Yeah. It's basically what the difference is sort of compared to that.
And I did notice the difference in certain scenes, but I don't think it was enough of a difference. But anywho, we saw The Lion King in 3D and I just...
Side note, did you know IMAX has been out since the 70s?
I did not. Yeah, I thought it came out when we were kids.
Yeah, it just didn't get popular till like 97.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we were definitely kids when it became popular. I thought it was a new thing.
Were you on that GT trip with me when the sharks were?
Yep.
Really?
Mm-hmm. That was 4th grade.
Wow, throwback. Man, we've known each other for a long time.
I saw the one about Egypt too in 3rd grade. That was pretty dope.
Yeah, I was at a different school then.
Yeah.
But anyway, so is Beyonce a bad actor or are y'all just hating? So I'm going to ask you this because we haven't talked about this part of the movie.
You're right.
Did you feel like, were you watching the movie like, oh, Beyonce's ruining this?
I did not think she was ruining it, but I was kind of getting, what's the one movie that she really just did terrible in with Ali Larter and what's his name?
Oh, Obsession. That's my favorite movie. I love Obsession. That's my favorite Beyonce movie.
I don't think she did very well in Obsession. I'm not saying she did bad. I just don't think it was her best performance. And I can't really say what her best performance was because I feel like it would be Dreamgirls, but I haven't seen Dreamgirls.
You haven't seen Dreamgirls?
Not in its entirety.
Okay, we gotta watch Dreamgirls. Okay. I haven't seen it in a while. I would have to say Dreamgirls is probably her best movie. Obsessed is my favorite Beyonce movie just because it's hilarious.
It really is hilarious.
When she throws that girl down the stairs, I can't remember any of her lines to be like, and that's stop messing with my husband or whatever. But yeah. I mean, it's hilarious. I mean, I never saw the Austin Powers movie she was in. I mean, I'm not saying Beyonce is I
watched the Austin Powers movie.
Who's a great actress?
That's a loaded question.
I know. I'm just trying. She's not the best actress, obviously.
Right.
But I didn't watch Lion King and think, why did they pick Beyonce? She ruined it.
Yeah, no, it wasn't as bad as people are making it out to be.
That's okay. That's all I'm saying. I feel like people it wasn't as bad as people are making it out to be. Like somebody said that she's the Jacquees of acting, and I'm just like,
that's a reach.
That's a bit much. Come on now. Because for her to be the Jacquees would mean she would have to be like, I'm such a great actress. I'm better than Halle Berry. I'm better than Viola Davis. She would have to get on the gram
and be like, I just want y'all to know. Wait, let me try to do my Beyonce voice. Do I have a Beyonce voice?
I don't think so.
Dang, let me see. Can I do it? Because I hear it. But can I execute is the real question.
I'm waiting.
All right. Hey, everyone. I'm Beyonce, and I just want y'all to know I'm the new queen of acting. All right? Okay, cool. Just because I said so. I got on the Instagram and said so. So now I'm the new queen of acting.
So the thing is, like,
how was the voice?
It was not that great. A little too proper, not enough Houston.
Yeah, it wasn't. I couldn't get that pitch and that twang at the same time. It's tough.
The thing is, like, a lot of people, when I ask, like, okay, what didn't you like about her acting abilities? Because you're not seeing her face. It's literally just her voice. And they're like, I don't like her voice. So I'm like, okay. But her voice is just still so Houston country. I mean, it just is. That's all it is.
And what's happening, what you're hearing, what I will say is this. I did notice this. What you're hearing is Beyonce trying not to sound Houston.
Yes. And the thing is, I think, so like I compare Beyonce to Janet and J-Lo, right? Okay. Beyonce, Janet, and J-Lo all sing, dance, and act. Mm-hmm. To different degrees of each category.
Because J-Lo can dance and J-Lo can act. But I personally don't think she's that good of a singer.
She's not that great of a singer. I love a lot of her songs.
Right. That doesn't mean her songs are bad.
Yeah. Love a lot of her songs. But she's not like gonna belt it out. You know what I mean? Like she's capable of singing.
Right.
But she's not like whoo, J-Lo can blow. Like, no, I'm not gonna say that.
J-Lo's a singer.
But I love
and not a
her
singer.
movies. She can outdance most people. So anyway, that's kind of how I see it. It's like, okay, Beyonce sang, absolutely. Dance, absolutely. She acts like she's not.
Beyonce is indeed an
Now,
actress.
Janet, I have to say, Janet can obviously sing and dance phenomenally. I like Janet acting. It's hard for me to see Janet acting because I see her in every character, which I think is a part of what people are saying about Beyonce other than her voice. Like, you can't, like, she doesn't absorb the character. Like, a lot of people were saying they forgot that Donald Glover was Simba. Right. Which I did too. Now, granted, I don't know his voice as well as I know Beyonce's.
And see, I was listening for it because I've watched quite a bit of his stand-up. I
have not.
I've seen a couple of other things where he was just talking, like interviews or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was listening for it. And it was like literally about 3 or 4 words where I was like, oh, there it is. Yeah. But the whole time I was like, Beyonce as Nala.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah. And I mean, Seth Rogen obviously was very recognizable, you know, his voice as,
But it fit.
but it fit. I mean, him
fit
as Pumbaa
perfectly,
was
yeah.
just perfect. So yeah, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm gonna have to rewatch the movie a few times to give a full assessment, but it didn't ruin it for me as much as it did for some of y'all.
Yeah. And some of y'all tripping, to be honest.
So did we like the live action version? Did you like it overall?
I think I want to watch it again, not in 3D, so I can, because that it was.
But you
3D is more of a distraction to me.
But you don't really remember the
and
original
I also
that well.
don't really remember the original that well, because I'm like one of the few people who saw that less than 100 times.
So whenever
I remember seeing it twice.
So most of my life, when people have asked me what's your favorite movie, I've always said The Lion King. Mostly because it's a easy go-to. It is one of my favorite movies, but I have a lot of favorite movies. Like, I just love movies. So I actually have quite a few, and it was hard for me to pick one. So I usually said The Lion King. And I watched The Lion King a ton of times growing up, and a lot when I was older. I haven't seen it in a while, though. So some of y'all that were like trying to compare it line for line, I wasn't doing that. I was kind of looking at it more as the overall, did they get the gist of it? And I think they did a great job. Like, the big complaint was that they cut Be Prepared, which I literally sat in theaters and I was kind of upset in my seat. I was like, they cut it.
Is it possible that the 3D version might have been slightly shorter than the regular version?
No.
Okay.
The reason they cut Be Prepared, and when I say they cut it, they still had the song, it just was a shorter version. The reason they cut it is if you go back and look at the original, it kind of has Scar like, and the hyenas like Nazis. So to modernize the movie, they had to like cut quite a bit of that out. If you remember, it was kind of pretty scary.
Yeah, I do remember that being scary as a kid.
Yeah. They modernized a few parts and like some of the lines or whatever.
A bunch of modern one-liners and
yeah,
such,
the one-liners. Well, I thought it was fine. Somebody was upset that the animals weren't more animated, and I'm like, it's a live action movie. Like,
that was the point.
The whole point was that
that's the point.
Like, they wanted. Yeah, I was like, that would have been so corny. But
yeah,
the thing is, if y'all really miss the original so much, you can just still watch that. Like, there's just two different versions, and you know that's how you have to look at it. Same thing with Aladdin. There were some things that they changed that I think made sense.
Like Jay-Z said, people want my old stuff. Buy the old album.
Yes,
it's still there,
and that is so.
It's not gone.
That's one of my favorite Jay-Z lines because that is so real. Like, when people want you to be who they remember you as, and you can just go back and listen to Jay-Z's old music. Like, you don't have to.
Dogs have evolved. Okay, so deal with it. Yeah, this is dog food commercial where the first line is "Dogs have evolved," and I'm just like, okay, shoot.
So aggressive. But yes, so I'm still kind of worried about Mulan because if they don't have Eddie Murphy as Mushu, I feel like the movie's just going to be entirely too serious. Like,
yeah, who else could Mushu possibly
No,
be?
I didn't see a Mushu at all in the preview.
Oh yeah, you did say that. Like, that's just
now
ridiculous.
Again, that's just the little trailer they put out. I didn't see a Mushu. I didn't see Cricket. I didn't see Grandma. And
maybe all of his lines weren't recorded yet at the time.
And I'm okay with that because Eddie Murphy is coming back. So they just announced he's got a Netflix deal close to $70 million for his stand-up comeback. And it's so crazy because I randomly saw Eddie Murphy on like one of those late night shows a few years ago, and I was like, what's he up to? And he was just saying like, I don't do anything, I just spend time with my kids and sit at home watching TV, like I'm not doing anything. And I'm like, come on, come back and do something.
Right.
But when you got Eddie Murphy money
and 10 kids,
I guess you can just sit back and chill and play with your kids. So
and that's ultimately the goal.
But then we watched his episode of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee.
If y'all haven't seen Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, Jerry Seinfeld is the GOAT, is amongst the GOATs, one of the GOATs. There are several GOATs. But yeah, he himself as a comedian goes and picks up another comedian in a different car every episode. Something real cool, something real corny, something real, basically based on the person's personality. Like he picked up, I think, Trevor Noah in like a Lamborghini or something like that. He had a Ferrari for certain people. He had like a really old 1979 cop car for Seth Rogen, I think. But anyway, point is, it's an awesome show on Netflix. You definitely got to check it out. So during the Eddie Murphy episode, they were talking, you'll see how the show works. But ultimately, he announced that he was coming back.
And literally the day after we watched that episode, I saw the thing about him with the $70 million Netflix deal. So I was like, oh, okay, you back.
He's back.
Which I'm sure Netflix timed that episode, and the deal announcement pretty close to when they thought we were going to watch it.
Right.
So that's awesome. I can't wait to see it. I kind of want to go back and watch some of his old stand-ups because if I did watch them when I was a kid, I don't remember. So might want to go check those out before the new one comes out. Also, Tom Hanks. Did you see that movie trailer about Tom Hanks as Mr. Rogers?
No, but I saw a post. It was just a picture. If he can hit the voice, then that's all I need.
I think he's gonna pull it off. I watched the trailer and I think he did a great job.
Tom Hanks is also pretty versatile.
He is, and that's why I love Tom Hanks. You want to talk about an actor that can disappear into a role?
That's how you define a good actor.
Tom Hanks. So yeah. Congrats to him. I can't wait to watch it. I watched the documentary about Mr. Rogers, and
I watched parts of it with you.
It was really cool to learn kind of his backstory, and it was pretty dope. Mahershala Ali
as the new Blade.
Yes.
And there was a lot of people upset about that.
Who's upset?
I guess people who like the Daywalkers, whatever that is. I don't remember the movie Blade like that.
Me either.
So apparently people were upset that it's not Wesley Snipes. But
is Wesley Snipes still in Africa?
That part I don't know. I feel like he is, simply because his response that he recently released basically said, "Wow, this does come as a surprise. It's nothing to be upset about." Because let's be honest, can Wesley Snipes still play Blade at this point?
I doubt it.
Yeah, so
let it go.
Let it go. It's like, I don't
again. If you want to see the original, you can go back and watch the original.
There you go. And I'm 99.99999% sure Mahershala Ali is gonna kill that.
Absolutely.
Somebody posted and said, Marvel didn't hire Mahershala Ali. Mahershala Ali hired Marvel. To play Blade. So yeah. I want to go back and watch the original now so I can be excited about that. So I'm gonna wait till it gets closer and then watch the original and not necessarily compare it, but just watch both. Because again, life is not about comparing every single thing all the time. Sometimes you can just enjoy two different versions of something.
Yep.
Alright.
So I saw this thing on my timeline that said, what if marriage licenses expired and needed to be renewed to continue the marriage? And so this post was basically saying that renewal on your marriage license would be $40 to $90 every 3 to 4 years. And kind of similar to how you have to get your driver's license renewed or any other license. And the person said marriage is a business and a lot of y'all have no business being together. What are your thoughts?
That's quite true. So me and my two best friends were talking about this. Well, two of my best friends. So me, I think Shanice sent it. No, LaJulia sent it. So LaJulia sent this to both of us and was like, Shanice said that if people are going into marriage with worldly standards, that's fine. But since I believe marriage was designed by God and I personally have to follow and operate within the guidelines that have been set. So a lot of people look at it from a Christian perspective, ultimately, which is fine. But you got to remember, Christians are not the world's dominant religion. I'll let you think about it and take a guess at what is. But it's not the largest religion in the world. Maybe in the United States of America. But at the same time, my response was that a lot of people are, leaving the quote unquote Christian faith for more of a moralistic and value system. Basically, they just want to be good people on their own without the, I guess, the judgmental aspects of organized religion, which I understand. A lot of people are doing that, and I see why. I'm not against it. I'm not for it, but I understand it. What, however, this can do, you got to take the good with the bad. I don't know where the good and the bad is going to be, but here's two things that I immediately thought about. Because a lot of people only see marriage as a contract between the two people in the union and the state. Because think about it. You have to register with the state. That's why the minister always says, by the power vested in me by the state of wherever you live. You know, so it is definitely a government contract ultimately. What this can do is speed up the process of citizenship through marriage. However, it also increased the amount of people who can use that to bypass the immigration process. So obviously a hot button issue. And then also the option not to renew will only cost the government money since, you know, you're not having to, you know, file for divorce and then hire lawyers and stuff like that. So that's also a money back. There are certain lawyers who literally complete law school and open divorce firms. And that's all they do. So I feel like as potentially good of an idea that could be, I don't think it'll ever happen. But I do kind of like the idea behind that.
So I don't know that all the logistics could work out for this to be a legal
It would
thing,
take some doing.
But I kind of like the idea of between two people, we say, hey, every 3 to 4 years, you good?
Yeah, I mean, because I'm sure there's people who do that.
Renewing your vows. Like, I feel like you should renew your vows every year. Like, you know what I mean? Just like annual checkup with the doctor. Every 6 months you go to the dentist. I mean, there are certain things we periodically do. And I think a lot of problems come up in marriages when you don't check in, when you just like let time pass. And I agree with Shanice. I'm coming at marriage from a religious standpoint where I believe that we are doing this thing forever. But at the same time, you know, I think a lot of people's issues with religion is when you do come across a very valid issue in your marriage and then Christians say, y'all need to work it out.
Yeah, sometimes working it out is, you know, cutting your losses. Sometimes it's simply the best option, especially when there's children involved and then there's like a safety concern. Sometimes it's better to step away.
Absolutely.
To get out of people's way. Your timer's going off because you got chicken in the oven, right?
I do.
All right, go downstairs. I'm gonna talk about this for a second.
No.
All right, fine. Well, okay. Yeah, I agree, because sometimes it's best to, like with any other contract, you can opt out like a lease. If you're renting a place, you have the option at the end of the year to renew your lease or not renew your lease.
Right.
Same thing with your driver's license. You have to renew that. You got to renew the tags on your car. You got to renew everything else under government control. But, you know, some people didn't grow up in church like we all did, like we did, like me and my friends and such, the people I've had this discussion with. But at the same time, there's a lot of people who do look at it from a religious standpoint, but even then, you know, weren't really, you know, properly advised. Some people were ill-advised when they got married. Some people were ill-advised when they got proposed to and said yes. Some people were just ill-advised the whole time. Some people simply grow into different people.
Now that's where I think we should have more legislation. There should be a little bit more of a process to get married. I think premarital counseling should be required, and that's whether it's religious or not. There's certain things you need to talk out and work out and agree upon before you just join yourself to a whole nother person for life.
Yeah, but then that's going to take away from the drive-through wedding business in Vegas.
And maybe it should.
Yeah. Again, that's something you got to get past lawmakers. Good luck with that.
Mm-hmm. Interesting discussion. That's all that's on my timeline this week. Do we have any obscure news?
We have an obscure story. All right. So you know how in movies people will you'll see like the movies where there's like drug dealers and stuff, and then they got the drugs hidden in creative places, such as inside of a balloon
Yeah.
in a body cavity that I'm not going to say out loud.
Yeah. I've seen that.
But you know what I'm talking about. You'll see people, stuff a brick of cocaine inside of an old computer, so it looks like somebody's just carrying a computer. Or you'll see like, rocks inside of a teddy bear or something like that. But this man was arrested in Spain for having a large amount of cocaine under his toupee.
What?
So this guy at the top of his head shaved kind of low.
Oh my goodness.
And was wearing a toupee. And underneath the oversized toupee.
That's quite clever.
They found half a kilo of cocaine. I don't know if that's a lot.
I don't either.
I said a lot. I said a big amount. But it was $34,000 worth. So I'm assuming that's a big amount.
Sounds like a decent amount to me.
Yeah. Found it stuck to his head with about 30 euros because they were in Spain. 30,000 euros of cocaine, which is about 34,000 USD.
Wow.
So the police statement said there's no limit to the inventiveness of drug traffickers trying to mock controls, which that's true because I've seen some movies, I've heard some things, I've known some people who have seen some things and done some things, and it's quite interesting. This picture's kind of funny because it's like he just balancing something on his head.
That is so funny.
Yeah. So that's actually all I got. Nothing else really jumped out at me that I wouldn't have to play a video for you to get it that I can just talk about. So everything else, Yellowstone bison tosses 9-year-old girl into the air. When are people going to stop letting their children play with these massive wild animals?
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Yeah, so something about the little Donald dude and some straws. I'm not really gonna read that story because I don't really care about that guy. So yeah,
I don't want to. I saw that one too. I don't even want to go there.
Yeah, the less the better. It would have been funny if we had asked that straw question this week instead of last week.
I know.
Then I would have been more inclined.
That's
to go
why
into
I almost thought somebody was like pranking us when I saw it. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah. You want to go grab your chicken? I'll wait for you. Cause I don't want you to overcook it.
All right, I'll grab my chicken.
All right, cool. I'll wait. Why are you looking at me like that and still sitting there?
You look suspicious.
I'm not finna do nothing. I'm just not gonna pause the recording, because then I gotta deal with 2 sets of audio clips, and I'd rather just leave this blank air right here while you go downstairs and get your chicken out the oven. All right, so while Tara's gone, we finna talk about. I'm playing. Dang. We'll be right back after these messages. I'm kidding, there's no messages. Not yet, at least. And welcome back to TTRL.
Welcome back.
How was it?
It's almost done.
Okay, cool.
Not quite.
All right, well, let's continue with the show. We might finish the show before we need to go back down. Where were we? We already did the obscure news. Listener letters. What y'all talking about?
If you all have listener letters for us, you know that you can email them to askttrl@gmail.com, askttrl@gmail.com. And if you've sent one in the past and you want to send us a follow-up, we would love to hear back from you as well. So tonight, let's do something light. I don't want to get into one of the deep ones tonight.
All right, cool.
Or today, I guess.
Nothing was time sensitive though, right?
No,
okay,
it's
cool.
not time sensitive.
Again, we're not licensed therapists at all, but we do advocate for it. So what we say is not law. These are our opinions. Mm-hmm. All right.
This one's going to be an easy one.
Okay.
So cornbread.
Yes.
Salty or Jiffy? Sweet.
Okay, so I know a lot of people feel very strongly about one or the other. I personally grew up on the homemade cornbread, what you're referring to as salty. However, I do thoroughly enjoy Jiffy as well. Now, my answer to this question is that it depends on what I'm eating it with.
Now that's real.
So if I'm eating, okay, so like let's say beans and cornbread. I want the homemade kind, the from scratch kind. there are several other things where I'm like, yeah, sure, give me the Jiffy. Like if I'm just eating cornbread for some reason, then yeah, I'm probably gonna want the Jiffy kind. Though I cannot think of a specific time where I prefer the Jiffy, I'm never upset when there's only Jiffy because I like them both. Cornbread, let's say if there's cornbread on the side of spaghetti or something, I prefer the Jiffy because there's something about that sweet with the pasta sauce that kind of works well together. Cornbread casserole, like we got actual corn inside of like, the cornbread and it's baked in. I'd prefer that to be Jiffy because I've had it both ways and it tastes better when it's sweet. Trying to think of another example. Can't really think of another example, but my answer is I like them both. Not equally, but they both have their time and place.
They both have their time and place. I grew up on Jiffy. So that's kind of what I'm used to. Now, granted, as I've gotten older and attempt to get healthier, I've tried, to cut bread out when it's, I guess, unnecessary or just extra. Like I'll eat a sandwich, or if I'm eating a burger, I'll have a bun, but
right.
I'm not just gonna have my meat and my two sides and my cornbread like I grew up on. So
see, I grew up because Gran would always make the cornbread from scratch, like with the cornmeal, and all, like, she taught me how to make it. So we would sit there and literally make the cornbread.
So I grew up making it from scratch too, but only during the holidays when we needed to make cornbread for dressing.
Yeah, so you obviously don't use Jiffy for dressing.
Right.
I didn't, the first time I ever had Jiffy, I think I was about 9 or 10. So yeah, just gotta give you an idea. I was just like, why is this so sweet? Did y'all put sugar in it? And I'm like, nah. I'm like, and then I realized it was out of the box. Like I had seen the box, I knew what Jiffy was, I just never had it. So by the time I finally had it, I didn't realize, it was that big of a difference. But like I said, I like them both.
Yeah, I love Jiffy, especially for the holidays. Like, my dad always used to put like a little, maybe like half a can or maybe a whole can of cream corn in the cornbread. That is my jam. And we made some last Christmas, my mom, my sister, and I, and we could not stop eating it. It was so good.
Yeah, that was really good.
So yeah, I
think I ate most of that, honestly.
You did. I wasn't gonna call you out, but you did. But yeah, like I love Jiffy just because I grew up eating Jiffy, and I pretty much love anything sweet. But yeah, there is a time and a place for the good old homemade, old-fashioned, plain, regular cornbread. And if you make it right, it's good too.
Oh yeah.
So that we're gonna end it there.
Okay, cool.
We're just gonna
because I'm looking at the recipes. They're kind of deep.
Yeah, so we'll save those for another time.
And it's also late because I've been sitting there thinking about ways to improve this podcast literally all week. And like I was downstairs about however long ago it was when you say, "Are you ready to do the podcast?" I was like, "Oh crap, it is Wednesday, huh?" I always forget that we have to actually record the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway.
Well, remember that you can still send us questions at askTTRL@gmail.com. Again, we want to hear from you. We want to chat with you and possibly assist you with whatever's going on in your world. So shoot us a quick email or DM us for that.
We are not your therapist. We are just some cool people who will give you advice.
We'll do what we can. So our love life advice of the week, speaking of advice,
right.
Just our little quick tip in general about relationships. If you are in one or in an imaginary one, then this is for you.
Or if you're trying to be in one, maybe.
Right. So my quick tip for this week is to hug each other every day. Every single day.
Oh, that's what that was.
Every day. What?
You did hug me for like 20 seconds not too long ago. Like an hour or two ago. It's like such a long hug.
I do that every day. I try to, at least, because a few years ago read this article about how like the crazy physiological and psychological benefits of hugging.
I do remember you reading that article and sharing it with me, and we talked about it. Yeah.
I've always been a hugger, but that just solidified it for me. It talked about what it does for your relationship. But it can also, so it increases your self-esteem, it enhances your relationship, it can lower stress, lower your risk of heart disease, boost immunity. It's got so many crazy health benefits. It's a really great way to just show your partner that you love them and you connect with them, you feel them. It makes you happier, obviously. It can reduce pain. So according to some source, I can't remember where this is from, but allegedly we need 4 hugs a day for survival, 8 hugs a day for maintenance, and 12 hugs a day for growth. So like that's just something to think about, of like how often you are hugging people. It doesn't have to be your significant other, but that definitely can kind of increase your relationship and boost that connection. And it's something that studies say that you need at least a 20-second hug for it to be truly effective, to get that whatever the health benefits. And
endorphins and pheromones and whatever, something like that, I'm assuming.
Yes. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. That's something that I put into practice in our relationship. And how does that make you feel? Like, is that weird?
No, not at all, because I like making physical contact with you.
Right.
So but that does totally make sense, if you really just think about it. And of course, my response to that is, while a relationship is indeed a partnership, do not forget that the affection is still necessary. And that's ultimately what this is saying here. So a lot of people, run their relationship like it's a business, like it's, people, treat their marriage as if it's a binding contract, which it is. But at the same time, you're together because you love each other, and saying it is one thing, but you also have to feel it and show it and, do it. Not literally do it, but, it has to be an action. You have to feel it. You have to make sure that they feel it. And a simple hug is probably the most effective way to do it, aside from kissing and making love, right?
Yeah. And the thing is, like, that is something that I think, should implement with friends, family members, anyone that you have a strong relationship with or connection with. Like, you have to be careful with that, because some people are not huggers. Like,
some people are not. Yeah.
My friends who I know aren't really huggers, or maybe if they are, not quite as much as I am. I can sense sometimes when they need a hug, like if they're really going through something or something tough happened. Like, I will say, is it okay if I hug you? Or I'll say, I'm going to give you a hug. Like, and just saying that before you hug someone who may or may not be a hugger, I think is good, because then they can then say, thank you, or yes, or no, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, you can kind of take their cue from there. But I mean, there have been a few times where a couple of my friends who I know are not huggers really needed a hug, and they appreciated it. And so it's just like that nonverbal connection that you can make with another human being. And that's obviously so critical in your relationship, your primary relationship or the romantic relationship. Because like, sometimes you can just go the whole day if you get busy without connecting. And so,
especially us, because we both do a lot.
Yeah.
And we're both, we both have a certain set of goals individually and collectively, the two of us. But a lot of times I'll get into my zone and I don't like being bothered. Stop interrupting my grinding. That's how I be feeling sometimes. But, you didn't necessarily call me out on it, but, I did have to remember that, I had to stop and give you that time and give you that energy. So yeah, it's definitely something that you may have to consciously put in that effort.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you it'll be worth it.
Absolutely. Well, that wraps up this week's episode of Terra Talks Ryan Listens. Yeah, I think this is definitely probably a short one, probably the shortest one.
Yeah, because I got to cut out like 1, 2, 3, like 3 minutes while you were downstairs. But yeah.
So yeah, sorry if you want more. We want more. We want more.
We want more.
Or some of you may be like, okay, good. I need these shorter episodes. But
let us know how y'all feel about that. Because we can probably
try
to condense them, because I'm trying not to let them exceed an hour.
Yeah, I think an hour is fair.
A lot of them have been like 70 or 80 minutes, and I'm trying to avoid that. But we got a lot to talk about, and we're both talkers, so.
But again, we always want to hear from you, so feel free to be sure and connect with us. You can follow us at This Is TTRL on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find us on wherever you listen to podcasts, and make sure you share that with a friend. And you can follow our personal accounts. I'm at tcar_examiner.
And I'm THERY_C. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and whatever else. It's probably the same thing.
So we hope that you will connect with us and have a great week.
Peace.